Hello and welcome. We are looking at the solutions to the sample papers of the ULET. Let's go ahead, have a look at the questions and solve them one by one. In today's lesson, we will look at the solutions to the first sample test. This test contains 10 questions. You will get 5 seconds to try solving each question by yourself, after which we will look at the solutions together. Then, once you're done with sample test 1, go to sample tests 2 and 3. Starting with question number 1, let's have a look at this more clearly. This is a question on legal reasoning that contains a principle and facts, and then you have the 4 options. Take your time to solve the question, and then we look at the solutions together. Now, the correct answer to this question is option C. This is because Article 14 gives you the principle that says that the state shall not deny equality. In this particular case, A was rejected and definitely he was denied equality, but XYZ tuitions does not qualify as the state, and therefore A will not succeed because the company cannot be considered as the state. Moving on to question number 2. Question number 2 gives you an argument here, and then it says that the argument above would be weakened if it were true that, and then it gives you 4 options. Try solving it yourself. So let's look at this argument once again. It says that the rate of violent crime in the state of Antigua is up 40% from last year, which means that whatever the crime rate was last year, this year it is 40% more. It goes on to say that the fault lies entirely in the judicial system. So it says that the reason for this increase of violent crime is entirely, completely, totally the fault of the judicial system. And then it says that the judge's sentences have been very lenient, and because they are lenient, criminals have no fear. Now we are seeing as to what would weaken this. When you look at this argument, it is basically saying that the only cause of the increase in crime is the judicial system. But when you look at option A, which is the right answer, you can see that it gives you a different reason. That could be the reason for the increase in violent crime. Option A says that 35% of the police have been laid off in the year, which means that you have less police. If you have less police, then criminals can now do almost anything without fear, right? So what you can see here that there's a reason other than the judicial system which is responsible, whereas the argument says that it's entirely the judicial system. Therefore, this argument is weakened by option A. Question number 3. Question number 3, again a question on legal reasoning. It tells you what a guarantee is. Remember that in these questions, you are supposed to treat the principle or the facts given to you in the question as being completely true. So it tells you what a guarantee is, and then it asks you which one of the following is the most appropriate example of a guarantee, and you have 4 options. Try solving this by yourself. Let's go for the solutions now. It says that a guarantee is an assurance about the quality of a product that is given, 1. in writing by the manufacturer, or verbally by the person selling the product, right? So we look no further than this. Now when you look at the options, you can find that option B is the answer. It is the only option that satisfies the requirement of this principle. This gives you a choice. It has to be either a guarantee of the quality of the product that is given in writing by the manufacturer, or it has to be an assurance of the quality of a product that is given verbally by the person selling the product. In this case, you can see that Sushil is buying a digital camera from his colleague. So the colleague is the person who's selling the product, and he promises to refund the money if the camera does not perform as expected, which means that he's giving an assurance about the quality of the product. Therefore, it is an assurance of quality given by the person selling the product, and therefore it is an appropriate example of guarantee. Question number 4. So as you can see here, there's a certain reasoning, and then you are required to identify the biggest mistake, the greatest flaw in the reasoning? Have a look at the options. Try solving the question by yourself. So the reasoning here says that it has been demonstrated by many surveys that students who attend school where teacher-student ratio is low get the best quality education. It goes on to say that as a result, when my children are ready to attend school, I'll make sure they attend a school with a very small student population. Now, remember that a teacher to student ratio depends on both the number of teachers as well as the number of students, which means that let us say you have one teacher and 5 students. That's the same ratio as 10 teachers and 50 students, right? So it is not possible to identify what kind of ratio you'd have only on the basis of the number of students. So here the flaw is that it says, the parent says that they will attend a school with a small student population, but it does not talk about the number of teachers. Therefore, D is the answer, because the number of students does not ensure the ratio, because the ratio depends on the number of teachers as well as the number of students. Question number 5. You can fill in the blank with the appropriate choice. Here are the 4 options. Try it yourself. Now this is a vocabulary-based question. The right answer to this question is modicum. Modicum means a small amount of something, which means that when you're saying that my mother asked me to demonstrate a modicum of common sense, it's like saying, hey, I expect you to demonstrate at least a small amount of common sense to make the right decision. Question number 6. Try it yourself. Now the phrase "you have the floor" means that you can now speak. It means that you have the right to speak at a public meeting. Question number 7. Try it yourself. So we need to pick the option that has a meaning which is most similar to corroborate. The answer to this is option C, affirm. Now corroborate means to support with evidence or authority, to make more certain. The word affirm means to repeat or agree with something, and therefore the answer is C, affirm. Question number 8. Try solving the question by yourself. In this question, we are looking at the antonym, the word that is the opposite of arbitrary. The answer to this is rational. This is because the meaning of arbitrary is something that is very random, done without an act of will, whereas rationality means that it has been done after giving due thought. Therefore, the answer to this is option A, rational. Question number 9. Most of us must be aware that the first case of monkeypox in India was in Kerala in the month of July. Last question, question number 10. The answer to this question is option B. Suresh Patel was appointed as the Central Vigilance Commissioner in August 2022. We are done with the solutions to the sample test 1. You can have a look at these videos to receive the solutions of sample tests 2 and 3. These will help you not just for the ULET but also for other law entrance tests like the CLAT and the IILET. I wish you all the very best.